renting sleep, renting tears, oh who knows, or simply just watching TV. These are also two professions that bring huge incomes. But probably you won't believe they are real, right? I don't believe it either. Dear friends, this world is diverse. Whenever there is a demand, the admin will try to meet it. This has created an extremely vibrant and diverse job market. Each of us lives and works to meet our own personal needs. There are countless types of jobs that each of us is doing to make a living. There are gentle, leisurely jobs. There are also hard, laborious jobs. Interesting and admired jobs. There are also boring and monotonous jobs. Unbearable. In the world, there exist jobs so strange that many people don't even think they can be considered real professions. These jobs do not require too high qualifications or degrees. However, they bring significant income to workers. For example, the jobs I just mentioned above. Of course, those are not all. So what other jobs are also strange and make a lot of money like that? Let's explore the mysteries of the universe through this video. 24 strange and unusual but money-making jobs that truly exist. Just by smelling toilet paper, you can earn about $52,000 per year. Toilet paper manufacturing companies always want their products to have a pleasant scent, loved by consumers. Certainly no one wants their toilet paper to have an unpleasant smell, making guests hesitant, right? Before packaging toilet paper, the staff team will conduct a smell check of the product. They will check the paper quality, evaluate the scent from the paper to see if there is anything abnormal or unpleasant. Additionally, the staff team also ensures that the toilet paper after use will not harm the environment. The strange job of professional paper smell experts. Earning 1.2 billion dong each year. A truly terrifying number. Here is one of the strangest jobs in the world. The profession of milking snakes. Have milk. What is called? Every year, snake venom takes the lives of tens of thousands of people worldwide. However, if used in appropriate doses, snake venom can become a very effective medicine. The job of extracting snake venom is extremely dangerous and carries many risks. They have to use their hands to open its mouth, then insert its fangs into a container with a screen. Medicine has proven that the thicker the snake venom, the stronger its toxicity. Snake venom can be sold for up to $1,000 per gram. The profession of extracting snake venom is mainly popular in Asia, and those who do this job can earn over $30,000 per year. It's hard to believe that watching TV can also become a way to earn money. However, of course, the audience's TV watching is not purely for entertainment. Another talent, TV viewers can also make money. According to an article on Investopedia.com, TV watching experts have the task of skimming through a series of television programs and many different news segments to find suitable content that can be broadcast on television programs or news broadcasts. The article said, over 10 years ago, famous host Jimmy Kimmel once agreed to pay $500 to $600 per week to hire a professional TV watcher. Professional renter. In fact, sleeping can also become a job that brings significant income in the field of scientific research. Researchers often recruit volunteers to participate in sleep experiments to treat sleep disorders. However, this rented sleeping profession is particularly suitable and emphasized in the hotel service industry, when these establishments always aim to provide customers with the best resort experience. They are often willing to pay a sum of money to hire a professional sleeping team at hotel rooms. Then, record your feedback and suggestions to send to the board of directors and the hotel management team regarding the shortcomings or aspects of the room that were unsatisfactory. Not stopping there, the employee who dozed off later posted the incident on their personal blog or other social media channels of the hotel. Please share your feelings as well as your experiences during your stay at the hotel. Yesterday passed by peacefully, with my professional quality sleep. This work also requires a significant amount of time and effort. However, the staff on night shift also need to be very careful, meticulous, and possess keen observation skills. In 2017, a company specializing in the production of dietary supplements for weight loss was established in Shanghai, China. Previously, I had posted information looking for someone who can sleep professionally, with an extremely attractive compensation package of up to 100,000 RMB, equivalent to approximately 320 million Vietnamese dongs per year. The job of this employee is to use the product and go to sleep at different times to simulate specific tasks, then write a report on the experience after using the medication. The biggest challenge of this job is that employees have to sleep at any given time. Right in the United States, there have been companies that paid a salary of up to $300,000, equivalent to nearly 7 billion Vietnamese dong, for a similar position. not possessing the handsome looks of those traffic-humping idols. But BG Batu, whose real name is Kim Sung-jin, although only 16 years old, already has thousands of fans. And earning about $1,500, equivalent to 34 million Vietnamese dongs per night thanks to a unique profession, eating and signing autographs with spoons. Batu's job is to eat a lot, show really delicious expressions, and not forget to interact with the audience. Through the form of live internet broadcasting, mukbang emerged in 2010 and began to develop vigorously in South Korea from 2014 to the present. It is believed that the reason is due to an increasing number of Koreans choosing a single lifestyle. Therefore, they turn to mukbang-style eateries as a way to dispel the feeling of loneliness whenever they have to eat dinner alone. In fact, this trend also once flourished in the United States. And one of the most famous professional competitive eaters is Donald Simpson from Ohio, USA. She is known as the queen of the mukbang world. People have to pay to watch her eat on her personal website. T have a lover, Don. Boyfriend rental service will help you solve all your problems. In Japan, this job is particularly popular. Even many legitimate companies are rushing to invest in this highly promising and extremely profitable service sector. The rental price for a boyfriend will vary depending on the specific person you request. But it typically ranges from 45 United States dollars, over 1 million Vietnamese dongs, to 65 United States dollars, nearly 1.5 million Vietnamese dongs, per hour. Of course, here are a few ways to translate that into English, depending on the desired nuance. But absolutely no excessive intimate actions are allowed. Pet food bag. Although pet owners always wish for their pets to enjoy delicious meals. Although pet food is nutritionally complete, not everyone dares to taste it. This is precisely why the profession of pet food taster came into being. And become a dream job with an ideal income that can reach up to $40,000. More than 900 million dong per year. Pet food testers also need to evaluate the nutritional value of the product. The crispiness and chewiness meet the standards required by the manufacturer. The profession of hired mourning is a traditional practice found in some rural areas of Vietnam. When there is a funeral in the village or hamlet, people in this profession are hired to grieve alongside the family. Their cries not only express sorrow but are also crafted into mournful, lamenting verses to convey grief for the deceased. Although this profession has gradually declined today, it remains a unique cultural feature, reflecting the profound human values in Vietnamese funeral customs. The profession of paid mourning has a long history in China, Africa, and the Middle East, and is closely tied to family values. Crying for hire is gradually becoming a fairly common profession. In the sorrowful atmosphere filled with strangers, professional mourners will wail, thrash about, and cry bitterly. A professional mourner receives $350 for each time they're hired to cry. In China, this is considered a completely professional and serious occupation. In Europe, a company offering professional crying services has been established in the UK. The price for hiring a professional mourner is $70 for 2 hours of work. They are hired to assist the family during funerals and create an atmosphere of grief and sorrow for visitors. Models who specialize in advertising for a specific body part. They are often models for products such as cosmetics, lips, eyes, hair, jewelry, hands, ears, neck, or footwear, feet. Instead of showcasing the entire body, they focus on displaying the beauty and perfection of a particular part to highlight the product. We often see models with perfect, professional poise strutting on the runway, presenting unique fashion designs. Sometimes, we assume that a model must possess a perfect body. That is completely untrue. Having perfect beauty is not a mandatory condition to become a model. In fact, it is very common to use only hands or feet for modeling. Song Vy hides herself, so few people know about them. Even those who possess an unattractive body part, they can fully participate in modeling to illustrate the before-use image of a product. Japan is one of the countries that highly values and is strict about punctuality. Especially in the field of work-related travel, up to 8.7 million Japanese citizens choose the subway as their main mode of transportation. And it helps people arrive at work on time. This country needs to ensure adequate and professional allocation of human resources. Right at the subway stations. The job of these people is to cram passengers so that the space in the train car is utilized to the maximum. Service staff work from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. with an average income of about $10 per hour, equivalent to 227,000 Vietnamese dongs. Traffic congestion is always a nightmare for Indian citizens. To solve this problem, the local government issued a highly unusual policy. only allowing vehicles with even-numbered plates to operate on even days, and odd-numbered plates on odd days. This measure aims to reduce vehicle density, thereby making street traffic smoother. Some cunning drivers came up with a trick to deceive government surveillance cameras by hiring people to cover the license plate. It sounds unbelievable, but this is truly one of the fastest-growing industries in India. At the Coral Islands, Ben Shuhao was lucky to be selected for a dream job from the Western Australia Tourism Commission of Australia with a salary of up to 150,000 Australian dollars. Throughout the 6-month assignment, Ben lived on Hamilton Island. Every day, he explores the islands of the Risparillo Coral Archipelago, then updates information on his blog to post clips, diaries, and his exploration experiences. Each month, he only needs to work 12 days. All expenses such as round-trip airfare, transportation, and insurance are covered by the Swiss Tourism Office. Additionally, the tourism office provided Ben with a luxurious villa with 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, one of which has a direct sea view. The villa is fully equipped with modern amenities like a kitchen, entertainment system, private pool, sunroom, outdoor hydrotherapy area, and even an outdoor barbecue area. He can bring his girlfriend or relatives to the island, but will have to pay for any additional expenses incurred. Even Ben himself admits that his job is as leisurely as a beach vacation. Work like play, proficient English listening and writing skills, good writing ability, excellent swimming skills, diving knowledge, and at least 1 year of related work experience. Usually, drivers are willing to help pedestrians by giving them a ride. However, in Jakarta, the capital of Indonesia, there is an opposite situation. Professional hitchhikers are paid to sit with drivers, helping them reach their destination faster. As one of the world's 6th largest megacities, it has over 30 million residents and about 20 million cars. The current infrastructure cannot handle the volume of traffic, making the traffic situation here extremely poor. 3 in 1. According to the regulation, cars are only allowed to pass through if there are at least 3 people in the vehicle. Because of this, a new profession emerged: professional hitchhiking at a very affordable price. Every morning, poor Indonesians from the outskirts of Jakarta line up near the entry points of the 3-in-1 zones to be hired by car owners as hitchhikers. With roles such as employees, sons, or friends of the driver, this is completely legal in Jakarta. If stopped by police and unable to prove a familiar relationship between the two, the driver can be fined up to over $100. The hitchhiker can also be sentenced to up to 12 months in prison, even though the authorities have implemented strict penalties. However, in reality, this profession remains the main source of livelihood for many poor people in the outskirts of Jakarta. After just a few hours of work, a hitchhiker can earn $7.50. However, hitchhiking also carries its own risks. Women hitchhiking may face the risk of assault, while drivers offering rides may risk being robbed. Queuing in an orderly and civilized manner. If you embrace the philosophy of living fast and dislike waiting, you might need the services of a professional line stander. In China, queuing sometimes resembles a highly competitive contest. Currently, Chinese people are increasingly inclined to hire professional queuing services to wait in line on their behalf. At banks, medical centers, mobile phone stores, and train stations. Household appliance stores, some businesses, especially restaurants. In fact, they even hire professional line standers to pretend to wait for hours, creating a bustling and lively scene for the store. This action aims to attract attention from the media and the online community, and especially, help them stand out and attract more customers. Over the past 2 years, 28-year-old Lee CK has built an entire career solely from the job of professional line standing. Now, he has even developed it into a full-fledged business, hiring up to 4 employees to queue full-time. Together with a team of freelancers. Lee said, "I'm just selling my time in exchange for money. You don't need any skills at all, except for the ability to endure." For some jobs, a pleasant appearance is a necessary requirement, but this job does not require that. Fragrance evaluation experts conduct odor tests to assess the effectiveness of cleaning products, like the family room and bathing area, mouthwash and deodorant. Despite working with a variety of products, fragrance evaluators sometimes have to directly smell odors in areas such as armpits or feet, or evaluate the breath odor of the study subjects after using the product on a scale from 1 to 10. Over a 15-year career, an odor evaluation expert has examined the smell of 5,600 feet and countless underarms. Thus, she has set the Guinness World Record for the highest number of foot and armpit images submitted. Lei Zai Tai Truyen Niep. It may sound unbelievable, but there are actually many people in the world who make a living by retrieving lost documents. If in India, people use cheap toilet paper costing only 30 cents, about 6,000 Vietnamese dongs, then in China's Zhejiang province. There is even a whole street dedicated to selling joss paper for only about 10 yuan, equivalent to 34,000 Vietnamese dongs, for each use in spiritual cleansing rituals. According to the artisans who make do paper, this work does not require capital investment but still provides a stable source of income. Model wearing a bikini. Through correspondence, when mentioning this day, it is difficult for us to affirm whether it is a prestigious profession or not. But rationally speaking, it actually looks quite bizarre. What made the situation particularly strange was the entire 3-hour journey from Changzhou, China back to Hanoi. The U-23 Vietnam team, under the guidance of coach Park Hang-seo, shared many incredibly joyful and memorable moments together. I love my country. This is the flight that millions of Vietnamese people have been eagerly awaiting. In addition, the return flight of coach Park Hang-seo and his students also caused a stir in the online community. The appearance of several long-legged models in offensive bikinis was the reason. It is known that this was an impromptu performance arranged by a group of actors, not part of the company's official plan but rather a spontaneous idea from the logistics team of the trip. However, it can be affirmed that it is precisely these offensive images. Not only did it fail to show a respectful welcome, but that action also damaged the image of the U-23 Vietnamese team. Based on his contributions on the field, he should have received the recognition he deserved. They need to rest, rather than be disturbed by such inappropriate actions. Do you still support models wearing bikinis inappropriately and in the wrong places? When angry, some people often relieve stress by punching a sandbag. Punching bag. These individuals can earn up to 20,000 yuan per month doing this job, equivalent to nearly 70 million Vietnamese dong. Thanks to his burly figure and solid muscles, Xi Xiuping earned a decent amount of money working as a sandbagger. You mentioned that each of your performances will last about 20 minutes. Of course, your wife and children did their utmost to persuade you, hoping you would abandon that highly risky and dangerous job. But he said, "I don't see anything wrong with my profession. I work with my own labor and earn money from it." The Mobile Police Force, or Reserve Police, is a unit of the Vietnam People's Public Security Force. Its primary duties are to be on standby, to mobilize to various areas to participate in resolving situations related to security and order, preventing and combating crime and riots, and to participate in disaster prevention, search and rescue operations when requested. See them as guardians of moral standards or protectors of Chinese culture. This police force gathers elderly women, making everyone marvel in admiration. Of course, their way of operating is not like regular police. They do not hunt down bad guys, nor do they carry guns or wear uniforms. They are there to ensure everyone in their residential area follows rituals properly, both morally and culturally. This police force ensures that youth education maintains respect for the elderly. Before 2016, most families in China adhered to the nationwide one-child policy. At that time, local police stations also reminded people not to violate the regulations. In fact, this force can include both men and women. Respect the elderly to gain longevity. Rewind the timeline back to the medieval period. The British royal family hired a newsreader to update on current affairs daily. Because at that time, the illiteracy rate was very high and identification papers were not yet common. So, the task of these people was to convey all kinds of information to the public through speech. Since these newsreaders were hired to serve at the request of the royal family, the public had no right to casually touch them. Anyone who harmed or injured a reader would face appropriate punishment. In today's era of strong technological development, this job is often seen as outdated. But they are still tasked with announcing good news whenever a new member of the royal family is born. Chick sexing is considered one of the world's strangest professions. Sounds a bit unusual, right? Today, this practice has grown strongly in many countries like China, France, the UK, Japan, and has now appeared in Vietnam. Chick sexers mainly rely on the ability to visually and accurately recognize colors. They check the wing feathers, leg feathers, back feathers, and vent of the chicks to determine the gender of these golden yellow chicks. The most common method used by many experts to identify chick gender is through the vent. The salary for chick sexers in the UK is around $60,000 per year. Have you ever heard of subscription-style fake electricity? This is surely a quite novel profession. Fake electricity rental day originates from the beautiful country of Mexico. Here, some people always carry a 120 volts power generator box with them. Toolkits. They will use specialized equipment to give a shock to people leaving bars if requested. Electric washing helps some people regain alertness. Others want to stay up all night with electricity. It's strange that some avoid electric shocks, while others pay to get shocked. Money for service, that is the unchangeable principle in this fake electric shock rental profession. Professional mermaids. Mermaids are not just characters in fairy tales but have now become a real profession. Becoming a mermaid sounds really fun and exciting.